Okay, good morning. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. All right, so good morning. I wanted to talk today to everyone, and the topic I want to talk to you about is stress management, and we're coming on the heels of of retreat days, and at least for 9th, 10th, and 11th grades. And in the retreat days, we talked in my session a lot about stress, anxiety, some depression, and we talked about coping skills. We talked about resources that you have available to you. We talked about lots of different, some wacky techniques, some wacky little things that you can do. And you tried out some things that some of you may have liked and some of you may have thought were silly or useless. But I hope at the end of the day, I think some of you, or all of you, hopefully found something that would be helpful to you to use in your life when you're feeling stressed out. Because the reality is that stress, anxiety, fear are not just part of the Holy Trinity student experience, it's part of the human experience. And as part of the human experience, it's something that we all deal with, and we need to talk about ways that we can work through that, because we all need to work through it. And we can talk, and if we talk about it and work on different tools and problem solve together and share with one another what works for us, then we can hopefully help one another through it. And as you all pointed out in these last few weeks in small groups with me, talking to friends and talking to adults that you trust, not just your teachers and counselors, but parents, coaches, that's one of the number one ways that you can get through it, and that helps you. So I wanted to sort of put a capstone or sort of wrap up those talks during retreat days, and I also wanted to take time to highlight a new club we have on campus that was started by students. And I want to encourage, we want to encourage you to join and to participate in that club. So I want to give you a little bit more information about stress in general, just to reinforce what we talked about over the last few weeks. Okay, so while we went to remote learning last spring, Mrs. Durance, the lower school counselor, and I had to quickly sort of figure out how we were going to help students, faculty, staff, parents, how we were going to reach y'all and support you and support one another. And obviously everybody went virtual, digital, and we were challenged like everyone else. And so what we did was we created a website, an interactive sort of website, and it's called a Padlet. And there's a button on your resources tab in On Campus. And naively I thought, oh, everyone knows about it because it's there, and surely you click on it and you're using it all the time. And I guess that's not true. So I wanted to show it to you, because there's actually some really good stuff on there, and we do update it regularly, and we put some, new content on there. So I just wanted to show it to you. It exists. Because if you don't know about it, then how could you possibly use it? Oh, beautiful. I'm so with it. Okay. So Padlet, you can see that there's different feeds, right? So there's obviously information about how to reach us, but you all know how to reach us. There's a whole list here of apps, and let's see, I don't think I can get to, maybe I can. Yeah. No, maybe. Well, oh yes, yay. Yeah, cool. All right. So I have a whole ton of different apps, there's probably 15 on here, and it shows you what the app looks like. You can search for it on your app store. or Google Play Store, whatever. But it gives you a description of what the app is. And I promise you, I'm going to talk about, we'll highlight 2 apps in particular in a minute. But I promise you, if you haven't tried using an app for like your stress, anxiety, or even just like health and wellness, using an app can be really a great tool. So it might be good to try it. And they're constantly coming up with new apps. So it's a good idea to try one. I know, raise your hand if you've ever tried using an app. Yeah, okay, so lots of you guys. Over here I have like a virtual relaxation feed. And so there's different links to like YouTube things, but there's also some fun stuff. So there's like a kaleidoscope one. It's really kind of like cool, meditating. It's really fun. There's like a virtual spirograph. I don't know if you remember when you were little, you did like those like spirographs on paper. You use different colors, make different shapes. It was really fun. Okay, well they have it virtually, so it can be like really relaxing and fun. There's also like virtual bubble wrap. You can pop the bubbles. Anybody who's been to my office or who knows me knows that I'm like weirdly obsessed with bubble wrap. It's a great stress relief. But they have it virtually, so you don't have to like make loud, obnoxious sounds in class. You can like pop the bubbles and it's just as, anyway. There's a piano. But then there's also like the guided breathing box, you know, box breathing teaches you. There's lots of different ways to breathe. Okay, breathing for anxiety. In one of the groups in the junior retreat, we equated breathing. Breathing is like water for anxiety. It is the #1 tool that is super helpful for anxiety. So if you are feeling stressed, anxious, and you notice like that first symptom, your chest and your heart, like you're really having trouble breathing, you need to stop and slow down and try one of these methods of breathing. And box breathing is one of them. So if you need help with that, you could just go to the Padlet, click on this, like the links are all right there. You also could Google it on YouTube. But anyway, okay, and then there's also like articles. This one here is good, like so all the mental health resources I've put here, just different information, but I think it's really important for you to know that there are resources out there. There are crisis text lines, so like 24/7, so all the time you could text if you're feeling like you need support, you need help, any time of night, any day of the week, you could text this number and receive support from a licensed counselor, okay? That's really important to know. You don't even have to talk to that person, but you can reach out and get help. So that's right there. You don't even have to remember the number. Or if a friend's struggling, like go to the Padlet, it's easy. You know the login to On Campus. Go to the Padlet, click on this, and send that to your friend, or you do it for yourself. There's 211 is for Brevard County. There's a ton of local resources that are available. And then the suicide prevention hotline number is on here as well. Again, 24/7, okay? There's stuff for parents and then faculty and staff. I know I've sent this to you, but there's also some links and some resources for faculty and staff. Oops. Okay, so that's the Padlet. Lots of fun stuff on there, and I will continue to update it. I hope that you guys use it, otherwise it's a waste of my time, and I don't like to waste my time. So please use it. Another fun thing, obviously you see therapy dogs are here today, and they're here during lunch. So I just asked, like, we weren't able to bring them earlier because we were trying to be respectful with the COVID and everything like that. So just try, like, it's totally fine, but you definitely need to wear your mask and try not to be in like large groups. They're gonna be here all through lunch. So, you know, if you see a large group around a dog, just kind of hang out, wait for a sec, and I'm sure that, you know, it'll subside. But definitely go take advantage of that. All right. So a few techniques that I wanted to go over, and these came from the discussions with the students in the Mental Health Awareness Club. And they thought like these were some things that it would be good to talk with high school students about and remind you that it's really important that when you're feeling stressed and overwhelmed, that it can be like, you can feel like that moment is the most important moment, and that it's, but that if you really look at, it's important to remember that in 5 years, thinking about your thoughts and trying to check in with your thoughts, that in 5 years, is this moment really going to matter? And so usually, usually the answer is no. And if that's the case, then try not to let it take up your thoughts and too much of your emotional energy right now. Speaking about thoughts, obviously your thoughts matter. Make sure that you're taking time to give yourself, to check in with your thoughts and check in and make sure that they are the right thoughts and that they're healthy thoughts, not hurtful thoughts. I like that graphic, so we thought that that would be good to share. Just that mindset, some of us think about that negative mindset versus a growth mindset. We should always be trying to have that growth mindset or a positive outlook. But it can be hard when you're feeling overwhelmed and stressed. We talked about apps earlier. I showed you there were a ton. But the students wanted me to highlight these two. I guess these are two that they find to be helpful right now. Again, remember, apps are always changing, as you guys know, and they're always adding new ones. So these two, for them, were helpful. So I don't know, some of you guys like to journal, and this journaling one, Mood Notes, is one that they find to be helpful. I guess it suggests some prompts for you, and based on what you tend to like, and understands some of the factors. As you start to use it more, it learns a little bit about you, and so it understands the factors that influence your mood based on how you interact with the app. And then the anti-stress app has a lot of like little games. Looks like a little fidget spinner, right? Remember those? Those were so cool a while back. I think they got banned for a while, didn't they? Yeah. I don't know if I still have one in my office. Anyway, oh, it has bubble wrap popping. That's awesome. Okay, so fun stuff. 5 to Thrive. This is definitely, the idea behind this is that it doesn't take much to lower your anxiety and stress. Really just takes 5, and if you do these 5 things, then you will thrive. That's the basic premise of this. And the idea is that, okay, stopping and taking, and doing these 5 things. Square breathing, so focusing on your breath. Mindful awareness. Mindfulness, we talked about in the retreat days, but mindfulness is being aware of, and grounding yourself and being aware of just this moment. What do you see? What do you smell? What do you hear? What do you taste? Just being aware of those senses and bringing yourself to the here and now. Expressing gratitude. Gratitude is so powerful. And getting outside, being one with nature and being out in the outside can be super stress relieving, and so definitely helpful. And taking a break from social media, I think we all could use that, especially in times of stress. But it's hard to do, so sometimes you need some help. And asking a friend or asking somebody in your home to give you, hey, could you help me with this? That's a good idea. Another thing that can be helpful to remember is just focusing on what you can control and what you can't control. If you've ever been in my office, you know that a lot of times we will do this together, because when you come in with stress and anxiety, so often it's about everything else. And when you really look at a problem and you drill it down and how much of it you actually have control over, when you come in with a problem this big, you walk out of my office and you're working on this much. And it actually feels better, okay? And that's why students leave my office and they're like, oh, that was helpful, because all I have to do is this, right? Because all I have to focus on is this, because that's as much as I can control. The rest of it I can't control. And it's good to have reminders like that. We all get in funks, especially at this time of year when everything seems to be so overwhelming and busy. And so it's just good to remember that, A, we have to say, hey, I'm in a funk, and this is why. We have to acknowledge it. Try to figure out why. What's what's the feeling behind it? Talk it out, talk to people who we trust. Look at what we could do, try to get inspired. Micro goals, we talked in retreat day. Goals don't have to be huge. They shouldn't be huge. Yes, you should have big goals for the future, but in order to, achieve a goal, it has to be small right now, right? So I don't know about you, but sometimes I can set really small goals. Like if I write a list, I'm writing everything down, even things that are tiny, things that are small, sometimes things that I've already done. And I'm like, ooh, yes, just so I can cross it off. Oh no. Okay. So Mental Health Awareness Club, we want to announce really quickly, I'm so sorry, that we're doing the Walk Out of Darkness. And we are going to be meeting Monday after Thanksgiving break. And so we really would love for you to come be a part of the planning of that event. It's the Walk Out of Darkness is from the National Suicide Foundation, and it is a walk, and it's going to be in the evening in January. And so we're really excited about that, but we need help planning it. So please come to our meetings Mondays at 3 o'clock, and the first one is after Thanksgiving break. Go in peace, love, and serve the Lord.